Bienvenue. Oh, it's so good to see you. Come through, come through. Thursday, my favorite day, I think. I know I say that about most days, but Thursday genuinely earns it this week. I'm in the kitchen, and there's a large glass pitcher on the counter and a bowl of lemons, and I'm about to make lemonade. Not the poured from a bottle kind, the proper kind, with a simple syrup made first so the sugar actually dissolves, and a sprig of lavender from the garden that I cut this morning specifically for this. I have been planning this lemonade since yesterday. Full confession, I thought about it at breakfast. The kitchen smells of lemons and warm wood and the faint green smell of the lavender, which is one of the best combinations I know. The window over the sink is open, the garden sounds are coming in, something bird-related, and the sound of someone a few houses away who has a lawnmower with a specific technical issue that has not been resolved this week. I have developed opinions about this lawnmower. Today, the kitchen is thinking about going outside. Picnic food. The kind that travels. The kind you eat without plates on a blanket in whatever corner of outside you have access to. Come and sit at the kitchen table while I start on the lemonade. I want to talk about why picnics are so good, and I have a theory. A Thursday invitation for today, which asks very little and gives quite a lot back. At some point today, or this weekend, if today is genuinely too full, take a meal outside. It doesn't have to be planned with a basket and a cloth. It could be a sandwich and a glass of the lemonade we'll make today, on the back step or in a garden chair or on a park bench or on the grass if you have it. The only requirement is that you eat it slowly and you don't have a screen with you. That's all. 10 minutes of a meal eaten outside without a phone counts entirely as a picnic, by my personal definition. The blanket is optional. The sun is optional. The basket is very much optional. If you want to go further, pack it properly. Get a cloth or an old blanket, make the lemonade, make one more thing to take with it, go somewhere you wouldn't normally eat lunch. But if all you manage today is a sandwich on the back step, that also counts. I mean it completely. I have been saving this one. I've been carrying it since I first planned this episode, and I kept thinking, yes, that one. That's the one for a picnic day. A. Milne published Winnie the Pooh in 1926, and in it there is a chapter about Pooh Bear organizing what he calls an expotition to the North Pole. The preparations for this expotition involve a great deal of consultations about provisions because Pooh has a very sensible view of expeditions. The food is the point. "What are provisions?" asks Pooh. "It means things to eat," says Christopher Robin. "Oh," says Pooh happily, "I thought it meant that." That cheerful certainty that the provisions are the heart of the matter is the correct attitude towards a picnic. The point is not the destination or the walk or the fresh air, though these are all good. The point is the basket. The point is the cold chicken and the bread and the something sweet wrapped in paper and the drink in the jar. The picnic reduces food to its most essential and pleasurable form, something cold and good that you eat with your hands in a beautiful place. No serving temperature to worry about, no tables to set, no washing up until much later and in someone else's problem. Milne understood something true about childhood and food, that eating outside with intention in a proper basket is one of the great uncomplicated pleasures. And it remains one, regardless of age, if you are willing to treat it seriously. Come through to the ballroom for a few minutes. I've put on something that sounds like a warm garden and a good Thursday. Right. The simple syrup is cool enough to use now, I think. Let's make the lemonade. Before we jump right into that, I want to tell you about the picnic that went the most wrong and turned out to be the best one. Tristan was about 3, which means Gwen was 7, Harvey 5, and Rose had just arrived and was at the stage of being intensely hot and uncertain about the world outdoors. We had planned what we thought was a proper picnic in the park. Blanket, basket, the works. We got there and discovered the blanket was damp for reasons we never established. The wasps found us within about 4 minutes of sitting down, which, if you've ever been picketed by wasps at a picnic, is the experience of being out-negotiated by insects at every turn. The sandwiches had leaked, something involving cucumber, and the juice from the cucumber had made the bread wet in the specific way that ruins the bread. Rose was hot and very clear about her feelings. We ended up sitting on a bench instead of the grass, eating our slightly wet sandwiches at speed, and Gwen dropped her strawberries and cried, and the whole thing was objectively a failure. But here's the thing. Gwen still talks about it. She remembers the wasps specifically, the wasp that Tristan named Gerald, who he felt was personally targeting the jam, and she brings it up with tremendous affection. The terrible picnic, Gerald the wasp, the wet sandwiches, the bench instead of the grass. I have been to much better organized picnics that left no trace at all. The imperfect one is the one that stayed. All right, come over here. The lavender has been steeping and the syrup is ready, and I want you to see this color before we add the lemon. It is this particular pale gold that is honestly already worth the effort on its own. Let me make you a proper lemonade, and then let's talk about what to put in a picnic basket. For the lavender lemonade, start with the simple syrup because this is the step most people skip, and it's why homemade lemonade often has undissolved sugar granules sitting at the bottom. Into a small saucepan, 1 cup of water, a cup of white sugar, 3 or 4 sprigs of fresh lavender or dried lavender flowers, just a teaspoon if that's what you have. Bring gently to a simmer, stirring until the sugar dissolves completely. Let it bubble very softly for 2 minutes. Turn off the heat and let it steep for 15 minutes with the lavender in it. Then strain out the lavender. What you have now is a clear, fragrant syrup that smells of summer in a particularly specific way. Now the lemons. You want the juice of 6 lemons for a good pitcher. 4 cups of water, 6 lemons, and your syrup. If your lemons are very large or very juicy, 5 might do. If they're small, use 7. Juice them completely. I use a simple hand juicer. And strain the juice to catch the pips. Mix the lemon juice, the syrup, and the cold water. Taste. It should be bright and sharp and slightly sweet, with the lavender sitting behind everything as a faint floral note. Adjust if it's too sharp. Add a little more syrup. If it's too sweet, squeeze in 1 more lemon. Pour over a tall glass of ice. Add a sprig of lavender or a few mint leaves from the garden if you have them, for the look of it as much as anything, because a pitcher of pale yellow lemonade with a green sprig in it is one of the most beautiful things you can have on a kitchen counter in June. This recipe makes enough for a small gathering. It keeps refrigerated for 2 days, though the lavender flavor will strengthen. You can use rosemary instead of lavender. Rosemary lemonade is more unusual and very good, slightly piney, excellent with a savory food. Or mint, simply steeped in the syrup, which gives you something closer to a mojito without the rum. Now, for the basket, the philosophy of picnic food is simple. It must travel. It must not require serving temperature. It should be eaten with hands or at most a fork. The non-negotiables in my view, good bread or rolls, not sliced bread, something cold and protein substantial, chicken pieces, hard-boiled eggs, a piece of cheese wrapped in wax paper, something fresh, strawberries or grapes or small tomatoes with the vines still on them, something sweet and wrapped, a few biscuits, a slice of something, a square of chocolate, the lemonade. Everything else is a bonus. Olives in a jar with a lid, a bag of crisps, a small jar of something for dipping, the cherry tomatoes that make everyone feel they're doing something vaguely Italian and healthy. Do not overthink the containers. The wicker basket is beautiful if you have one, but a canvas bag works entirely. The cloth you bring to sit on matters more than what you carry it in. Something large enough, something you don't mind grass stains on. What makes a picnic is not the planning, it's the stopping. The deliberate choice to eat a meal outside, on the ground, without a table, using your hands. Everything becomes a little more honest in that context. The food tastes different. people talk differently. The afternoon has a different quality from one that was spent inside. I think it's the proximity to the ground. You are, briefly, at the same level as the garden, which changes your perspective on things in a small but noticeable way. A moment, because while you're here, I want to introduce you to something I love. You're all here because you love the seasons. You love the rhythm of a house that changes with the light and the feeling that ordinary days can hold something beautiful in them. And I genuinely think that some of you are going to fall in love with this. There's a book that I'd like you to know about. It's called Daughter of Water, the first in a fantasy series called the Verdalian Chronicles. It follows a young woman named Heidi who discovers that what she thought was ordinary about herself is anything but. The magic in it is tied to the natural world, to the seasons, to the elements, to the kind of beauty that lives in things that grow and change. It's clean and lyrical with a slow-burning love story that has real patience in it. My husband Samuel and I wrote it together over a period of years. It found a few kind audiences along the way. It's an NIEA finalist and a reader's favorite 5-star. And it also has the Indie Brag medallion, so I'm quietly proud of it. You will find it at dampts.com, that's DAMPTS.com, and on Amazon in ebook and paperback format, and the links are down in the show notes. It's a world I love, and I would be so glad if it found its way to you. Now, where were we? All right, it's time for our letter. Let me pull it out. It says, I always mean to have more outdoor meals in summer, and I never do. By the time I've thought about what to bring and where to go and got everything organized, either the sun has gone in or I've talked myself out of it and just eaten indoors. The logistics always overwhelm the intention. This is the most common picnic problem, and the solution is almost embarrassingly simple. The logistics are too large because the picnic in your head is too large. You're imagining the organized version, the basket, the cloth, the proper food, the destination, and then comparing it to the amount of energy available to you on a Tuesday, and Tuesday loses every time. The answer is to make it smaller, much smaller. This week, I want to suggest one item of food, one drink, a towel or old blanket, and whatever outdoor space you can reach in under 10 minutes. That's the whole picnic. You do not need the basket. You don't need to make anything. A piece of bread and cheese counts. You do not need the sun specifically, though it helps. The logistics that overwhelm you are invented logistics. The real picnic requires almost nothing except the decision to do it. Make the lemonade this morning, put it in a jar with a lid, take a piece of bread and something to put on it, find a patch of outside, sit on your coat if you have to. That is a picnic, and it's the same quality of afternoon as the carefully organized version, because the quality of the afternoon was never about the basket. It was about the stopping, the deliberate decision to be outside with food without a task. That part requires nothing but the choice. The lemonade is in the pitcher, and it is the right color, pale gold, slightly clouded with lemon, with a lavender sprig floating at the top that will, I think, need to be retrieved before it goes in the bag. It is very beautiful. I'm unreasonably proud of it for something that took under half an hour. I'm putting together a very small picnic for this afternoon, a jar of lemonade, a piece of good bread, some cheese, the strawberries from the garden, the old canvas bag that lives by the back door. No wasp contingency plan yet, but I have thought about it. I've been thinking about Gerald. I hope your Thursday has some outside time in it, even just the back step with a glass of something cold, even the 5 minutes. Come back tomorrow. I'll be in the parlor. Until then, take good care of yourself.